3 a.m. His phone lights up again. A friend needs a favor. He answers, of course he does. Because he's always the one who helps. Cut to morning. No one came when he was sick, his messages unread. He's exhausted, invisible, used. We celebrate kindness like it's gold. We call people good when they give everything. But the truth, the hidden, ugly truth, is this. Kindness without strength gets exploited. Generosity without boundaries becomes a trap. And the kindest people, they often suffer the most. If that sounds harsh, listen close. This video isn't here to comfort you. It's here to change you. By the end of this video, I'll give you one short phrase and 3 exact habits that reset how people treat you, without turning you into someone cold or selfish. Say them once, and people will stop assuming you're always available. Use the habits, and you'll stop being the person others walk on. Stay with me, because we'll expose the psychological trap behind being nice, we'll meet the shadow that feeds it, and we'll test the brutal advice of Nietzsche and the quiet wisdom of the Stoics. You'll hear real stories, the quiet explosions, the betrayals, the slow burn of resentment. And then you'll learn how to flip the whole thing, keep your warmth, lose the weakness. If you've ever been drained for saying yes, if you've ever been used because you care too much, this video is for you. Don't click away, the part that saves you comes later, and it's simple enough to start tonight. For centuries, men and women who gave too much were not remembered as saints. They were remembered as servants. History does not carve statues of those who bowed endlessly. It carves statues of those who knew when to bow, and when to refuse. There is a silent prison built for the kind. It begins with a thought as old as time. If I am good, the world will return goodness to me. But the world is not an equal mirror. The world is a hungry beast. It takes from those who offer without resistance. The hand that always gives becomes the hand everyone grabs. Imagine a village. One man works harder than the rest, feeding his neighbors in every season. At first, they praise him, calling him generous. But in time, his gift becomes expected. His labor becomes invisible. And when he can no longer provide, the same mouths that blessed him, curse him. This is the ancient law of human nature. What is abundant without boundaries loses its value. Even in the old courts of kings, the servant who never refused was seen not as noble, but as expendable. The king might smile upon him, yet would never trust him with real power. Because those who cannot guard their own dignity can never guard the dignity of a kingdom. The trap of kindness is not in giving. It is in giving without strength, without limit, without spine. Such kindness is not virtue. It is fear, painted gold. And the price is heavy. Resentment grows like weeds in the heart. The smile on the lips hides the anger in the chest. The gentle one becomes a vessel of quiet rage, until the day they break. And the world, blind to their sacrifice, calls them ungrateful. The ancients knew. Kindness is sacred. But kindness without the sword beside it is a sacrifice the world does not honor. Next, we turn to Nietzsche. A man who saw through this trap and declared that weakness disguised as goodness is the most dangerous lie of all. Friedrich Nietzsche, the philosopher of fire and storm. He looked at the world with merciless eyes, and what he saw terrified many. That what we call virtue is often nothing more than cowardice wearing a mask. Nietzsche warned, "He who cannot command himself will always remain a servant." Think of these words not as philosophy, but as prophecy. For what is the man who cannot say no? A servant, dressed as a friend. What is the woman who never refuses? A slave, painted as an angel. The world praises the meek, not because meekness is noble, but because the meek are easy to rule. The herd, Nietzsche said, adores the sheep that never resists. But the sheep is not honored, it is slaughtered first. Imagine an empire. One man kneels before every master, eager to please. He is called loyal. But does the emperor trust him with power? Never. For a man without command over himself cannot be trusted with command over others. This was Nietzsche's blade, cutting through illusion. Kindness, when born of weakness, is not goodness, it is submission. He believed the highest virtue was not blind kindness, but the strength to choose. To be capable of saying no, and yet still offer yes from a place of power. Only then does kindness shine as light. Otherwise, it festers as decay. Nietzsche mocked the false saints of his time. Those who gave endlessly, not because they loved, but because they feared being unloved. This, he said, is not morality. It is slavery of the soul. Listen carefully. When you help from strength, you rise as a creator. When you help from weakness, you sink as a victim. And the world, whether in ancient Rome or in today's kingdoms of glass and steel, always knows the difference. Nietzsche's warning was simple, brutal, and eternal. Do not mistake weakness for virtue. For the world will never reward you for bleeding quietly. It will only drink deeper. But Nietzsche was not alone in this vision. Another voice rises, Carl Jung. He, too, saw the poison in false kindness, but he gave it a different name. The shadow. Carl Jung, the man who wandered into the caves of the human soul. He spoke of what most deny. That within every gentle smile lies a hidden beast. He called it the shadow. The shadow is not evil. It is the part of you you refuse to see. The anger you bury, the no you never speak, the desires you lock away. And every time you choose false kindness, every time you swallow your truth, the shadow grows stronger in the dark. Picture a quiet villager. For years, he bows to his neighbors, never complaining, never resisting. The village calls him humble. But inside his chest, fire gathers. Until one day, he erupts in violence. And the same people who praised his gentleness now curse his rage. Jung warned. What you refuse to confront will one day confront you. The man who hides his shadow becomes possessed by it. The woman who suppresses her anger becomes its prisoner. This is the curse of weak kindness. It looks pure, but it is poisoned. It promises peace, but it hides resentment. And when the shadow finally breaks free, it leaves destruction in its path. Jung did not tell us to kill the shadow. He told us to integrate it. To look our darkness in the eye and make it our ally. For only then can kindness be real. True kindness is not the silence of the weak. It is the choice of the strong. Those who have seen their rage, their boundaries, their fire, and yet still choose compassion. The ancients carved warriors with swords in one hand and open palms in the other. This is the image of balance. Mercy and strength. Compassion and power. To extend your hand and say, I will help. While your eyes still burn with the promise, but I cannot be used. This was Jung's gift, the reminder that kindness without the shadow is not kindness at all. It is fear pretending to be love. But if Jung revealed the hidden beast within us, the Stoics showed us how to master it. Not through fear, but through discipline. The Stoics. Philosophers of iron self-discipline, men who ruled empires and endured slavery, yet spoke with the same unshakable voice. To them, the danger of weak kindness was clear. A life lived for the approval of others is no life at all. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor, wrote in his Meditations, "Do not waste the remainder of your life in thoughts about others, when you do not refer your thoughts to some common good. What did he mean? That to live always for the praise of others is to live as a shadow of yourself. The man who bends endlessly to please the crowd becomes a slave of the crowd. And the crowd is never satisfied. Epictetus, once a slave, spoke with the same fire. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. His meaning was sharp. Know your own path. Command yourself first. Only then can your kindness be a choice, not a chain. The Stoics were not cold men. They fed the hungry, comforted the grieving, guided the lost. But they never gave from weakness. They gave from strength, from principle, from reason. To help without being consumed. To love without being enslaved. Imagine a Roman general. He extends mercy to a captured enemy, not because he fears him, but because he commands him. This is Stoic kindness, compassion wielded by the strong. The Stoics warned us. The hand that helps without boundaries will one day tremble with resentment. But the hand that helps from inner discipline never weakens. In their eyes, kindness without strength was not virtue, but disorder of the soul. For how can a man who does not respect his own time, his own dignity, his own peace, ever truly respect the lives of others? The Stoics lived by a higher law. To master yourself first. To stand like a fortress, unmoved by praise or insult. And from that fortress, to extend mercy. This is the secret they left us. Kindness is noble, but only when it is chosen freely. And never when it is forced by fear. Yet if the Stoics gave us discipline, psychology gives us explanation. Why is it that the world so easily exploits the kind? Why does human nature target those who give the most? The answer lies in something older than philosophy itself. Our survival instincts. Why does the world take advantage of the kind? Why do givers so often find themselves surrounded by takers? The answer is not new. It is written into the oldest law of survival. The strong conserve their strength by feeding on the willing. In the wild, the predator does not strike the fiercest beast. It watches the herd, searching for the weakest. The one that does not fight back. And that is where it sinks its teeth. Human nature is no different. In the markets of Rome, in the palaces of kings, in the smallest tribes. The one who never resists, who always yields, becomes the one everyone turns to, drains, and discards. Modern psychology confirms what the ancients knew. People unconsciously test boundaries. If you do not set them, they will take, not out of malice, but out of instinct. The kind man who never refuses soon finds himself carrying the burdens of 10. The gentle woman who forgives endlessly becomes the vessel of betrayal. And still, society looks at them not with gratitude, but with entitlement. Imagine a kingdom. One villager offers grain freely. At first, the people bless him. But by the third season, his gift is no longer a blessing. It is an expectation. And if he dares withhold it, they curse him as greedy, even though he starve himself to feed them. Such is the curse of weak kindness. The world does not thank you for it. The world demands more. This is not because mankind is purely cruel. It is because we are wired to take the easier path. And if one soul gives without resistance, the crowd will always choose that path. Here lies the danger. When kindness has no boundaries, you teach the world that your life, your time, your energy are worth less than theirs. And once that lesson is learned, they will never unlearn it. The ancients carved it into their wisdom. The river that floods without banks destroys the very land it sought to nourish. Kindness, too, must flow within boundaries, or it will drown the one who gives it. And so the question rises. If weak kindness leads to chains, how do we transform it? How do we carry both compassion and power in the same hand? The answer lies in transformation. The ancients taught us this truth. A river without banks is a flood. A flame without control is a wildfire. And kindness without strength is destruction. But when boundaries rise like stone walls, the river nourishes, the flame warms, and kindness becomes not weakness, but power. This is the transformation. From weak kindness to strong kindness. How does it happen? It begins with a vow to yourself. A vow that says, I will not betray my soul to please another. Step 1. Guard your boundaries as sacred. The ancients carried shields into battle not to destroy others, but to protect themselves. Your boundaries are your shield. Without them, you will always be pierced. To say no when your heart resists is not cruelty. It is wisdom. Step 2. Give with discernment. In old kingdoms, kings gave gifts, but never to everyone. They gave to those who honored the gift, who could carry its weight with respect. So must you. Pour kindness only into vessels that do not leak. Step 3. Strength first, compassion second. The warrior who kneels in mercy is feared and respected. The servant who kneels in fear is ignored. Choose to help not because you cannot resist, but because you command yourself to do so. This is the only kindness the world bows before. And when you begin this transformation, a strange thing happens. The same people who once used you begin to respect you. The same world that once drained you now listens when you speak, because you have taught them a new lesson. My time is valuable. My life is sacred. And my kindness is a choice, not a chain. This is the law of strong kindness. Compassion without slavery. Mercy without weakness. Love without self-betrayal. For the world does not honor endless sacrifice. It honors the one who can bleed, yet still stand tall. And now, as our journey nears its end, the lesson must be sealed. For what use is wisdom if it is not lived? In the final words, we will gather the teachings of Nietzsche, Jung, and the Stoics, and leave you with the choice that will define your path forever. So what have we uncovered on this path? That kindness, when chained to fear, becomes slavery. That Nietzsche warned us, he who cannot command himself will always remain a servant. That Jung revealed the shadow, the hidden rage inside false smiles. And that the Stoics, from emperor to slave, taught us. Without self-mastery, kindness is wasted. You now see why the kindest souls often suffer the most. Not because kindness is wrong, but because kindness without strength is weakness. And weakness, in every age, is exploited. But you also carry the antidote. Boundaries. Discernment. The vow that your kindness will be chosen, never forced. This is not a lesson to think about tomorrow. It is a law to live today. Ask yourself now. Where in your life have you given too much? Where have you been silent when your soul screamed no? Where have you been bleeding quietly, hoping the world would notice? Tonight, you draw the line. Tonight, you let the shadow speak, not in rage, but in strength. Tonight, you honor the wisdom of the ancients. And remember this. The world does not honor those who destroy themselves for others. It honors those who can carry both the sword and the open hand, the fortress and the flame, strength and compassion. So choose. Be kind, but not weak. Love, but do not kneel. Give, but never abandon yourself. For the moment you combine kindness with strength, the world will stop using you. And it will start respecting you. This is Behind Mind's Secret, where we reveal not the comforting lies, but the hidden truths that transform you. If this message struck you, do not leave unchanged. Subscribe now, and walk with us every week, as we uncover the secrets of psychology, philosophy, and the human soul. For the kind who learn strength are no longer prey. They become the ones the world can never break.